Pokemon lovers, and welcome to another episode of Rating All Pokemon with me, Hilda. I should really think of a new introduction because I literally say the same thing every single time. Suggestions in the comments, I guess. Hi, hello. It's time for new Rating All Pokemon, and today we have two dope fossil Pokemon and two very confusing pre-evolutions and evolutions of a previous Pokemon from a previous gen. Very confusing. I'll explain it all later. Let's just go. The first Pokemon we're talking about today is Budew. Budew is the pre-evolution or baby form of Roselia, who is a Pokemon that was introduced in Gen 3. Very confusing, but it gets more confusing later because baby Pokemon get introduced later all the time. Gen 4 is very into introducing evolutions of Pokemon that already exists, so it's gonna be great to discuss that later. Budew is based on a rosebud, and it is completely closed during winter, and as soon as one ray of sunshine hits it, it will open and it will start blooming. Its pollen are very, very toxic, and they cause very bad hay fever. They wouldn't do well during this season. People would probably stomp on them because hay fever is the worst. Just saying. Budew's pollen cause really bad sneezing fits and teary eyes and lots of pain and disaster and destruction, and it looks cute, but it's evil as heck. Budew lives near water. It lives near clean ponds, pools of water, where it's clean, where it can absorb all the water into it to release its evil pollen in the summer, spring, right now. If you have hay fever, I feel so sorry for you. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Budew's name comes from bud and dew. Its French name is Rose Bouton, which sounds not cute. It comes from rosé and bouton. Now, bouton means button, so I don't really understand. Maybe it's like, oh, it's cute as a button. A rose button. No? Does bouton maybe also mean bud? French people? I couldn't find it, but does it? Does it? Does it? I give Budew a 3 out of 5. Because it spreads pollen and will make everyone sad during spring and summer and a little bit of fall. Next up is number 407, which is Roserade. Now, Roserade is the evolution of Roselia. So there's two new Pokemon in this gen that all revolve around one older Pokemon. Very confusing. Roserade evolves from Roselia when it's exposed to a shiny stone. It's a grass and poison type. It has a really cool look. It's based on a masquerade figure because you can see it's wearing a little masquerade mask. I don't know, I think it looks pretty dope. Pretty dope Pokemon. Now, Roserade lures its prey with a sweet aroma coming from its rose hands, and the sweeter the scent of its rose hands, the more vicious its toxin is. So, also, again, terrifying. Now, both of the hands have different toxins in them, but they can both pretty much hurt you and be very horrible to you. So stay away from its deadly hands, even though they look pretty, they're really not. Pokemon Black and White 2 say, luring prey with a sweet scent, it uses poison whips on its arm to poison, bind, and finish off the prey. Absolutely terrifying! Don't be fooled by beautiful things in nature. They're mostly deadly most of the time. Roserade is probably based on roses and the masquerade thing, which is like a disguise. It looks pretty, but it's deadly, you know what I mean? But there's also a plant that looks like a rose, which are called the hellebores, and those are actually really poisonous plants. So the disguising and stuff of the masquerade kind of seems to fit in here pretty well, and I like Roserade, so 5 out of 5. Next up are the two fossil Pokemon, or actually 4 fossil Pokemon of the Sinnoh region. The first one is number 408, Cranidos. Now, Cranidos is a tiny little dinosaur. It's kind of cute, I have to admit. This is also one of the fossils you can get in the Alola region. Cranidos is a Pokemon that charges its opponents with its hard and spiky head, kind of terrifying. And in jungles where it used to live millions of years ago, it will use headbutts to snap trees and crap like that. The Pokemon Moon Pokédex actually confirms this with the following. In rock layers where Cranidos fossils are found, the fossilized trunks of trees snapped in two are also often found. Cranidos is based on a dinosaur whose name I cannot pronounce. Pachycephalosaurus. I already tried to pronounce this once before and failed at it, so let's just not. Cranidos' name comes from the word cranium. The German name for Cranidos is Cocknodon. Doesn't have anything to do with cocks. It just comes from Kopf, which is head, Knochen, which... Knochen, which means bones, and Don. Cocknodon. 4 out of 5. At level 30, Cranidos evolves into Rampardos. Now, Rampardos is a very cool, again, a dinosaur-like Pokemon. It has spikes everywhere, and it's like very aggressive looking. A Rampardos that's charging can knock down literally anything. Very terrifying again. It actually does run into objects all the fucking time just to strengthen its reflexes and its head and just be a badass. Here is the best Pokédex entry I have ever seen from Pokemon Moon. Records exist of a revived fossil that evolved into Rampardos. It proceeded to escape and then destroy a skyscraper with a headbutt. Excuse me, Godzilla? What is happening? This is the weirdest and coolest Pokédex entry ever. Yes, Pokemon Moon. Yes, Pokemon Sun. Your entries are the best. I love you. Rampardos is based on dinosaurs that I won't actually pronounce once again because I don't know how and I am not a scientist and I will anger some kind of archaeologist, dinosaur science man, so I won't even try anymore. Rampardos' name comes from rampart and wall and ram and hard, and DOS is the DOS is the same as in Cranidos. So I give it a 5 out of 5. Very cool. Next up is Shieldon. Now, Shieldon is, again, a fossil Pokemon. It is a rock and steel type. And Shieldon is my favorite out of these fossil Pokemon. I feel like they weren't very creative with these. They're both, like, dinosaurish types with large and hard heads. But, you know, I guess sometimes you just run out of inspiration. Shieldon is resurrected from the armor fossil. It has the hardest facial skin ever. It is very vulnerable when you attack it from the back though. I wish that was a thing in the Pokemon games. Be like, attack it from the back! And then it just dies. That'd be funny. Shieldon is very proud of its hard face skin, and it actually rubs against tree trunks to harden its skin and to make it shine. Pokemon Sun says, many fossils of this Pokemon have been found, but almost none have shown signs of damage to the face. It's got a hard face. What? It's got a very hard face. Shieldon is based on a Ceratops-like dinosaur and a shield. Makes sense, its name comes from shield and don. It means teeth in Greek, and it's used in a lot of dinosaur names. I've mentioned all of this before. It's fine. The French name for Shieldon is Dinoclier, which comes from dino, and bouclier, which means shield. I give Shieldon a 5 out of 5. I'm gonna give these, I'm just too excited about these fossil Pokemon. They are cool. The last one for today is number 411, Bastiodon. Now, Shieldon evolves into Bastiodon at level 30, and Bastiodon is like dope looking. It looks like it's wearing one of those primitive masks, and it has a bone through its nose, and it just fucking looks like a caveman or something. Or some type of tribe that still is alive and I don't know of. Very cool Pokemon though. Look at how cool it is. I mean, it looks like a bulldozer. It looks like a bulldozer. But Bastiodon is actually a very sweet Pokemon. It's very docile. It just grazes on the fields, just grazing, just chilling. Doesn't do anything. It just looks creepy, but it's cool. Funnily enough, Bastiodon and Rampardos lived kind of the same life. They lived in the same areas, and that means that their fossils are often found close to each other. Now, this also means that they were probably mortal enemies, and they attacked each other all the time to the death, and that's also a reason why the fossils were very close to each other. Now, Bastiodon live in a herd, and if something is endangering their young, they will form a wall with their heads in front of their young so no one can get through, and that is super cool. Just like Shieldon, Bastiodon is based on a Ceratops-like dinosaur, but it's also based on a castle wall. If you look at the way it looks and the way it like builds a big-ass wall with its other friends, it does kind of look like a castle wall, and I think that's super cool. Bastiodon is based on Bastion, you know, the Overwatch character. No, I lied. Bastion is a type of castle wall. And Don, like I mentioned before, which means tooth. I give Bastiodon a 5 out of 5 too. These were all cool. And that was it for today. Who is your favorite Sinnoh fossil Pokemon? Please let me know. I'm finding it hard to decide because of their not so originality compared to each other, but I'm still gonna go with Bastiodon because it is very cool and it is actually kind of sweet, and I like things that are angry but sweet. So yeah, I'll see you again next week. I hope you will survive without me. I know it's hard, but you'll be fine. I promise. Please subscribe and all the stuff. It's too much effort, and I will... Goodbye.